Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and now here I am to continue my Christmas reviews for the year. Now here I am with a review for Gremlins. So, yeah, I know that this film really isn't like completely about Christmas, but yeah, this is kind of like a Christmas film in the same way Die Hard is. It's not really like about Christmas or anything, but it does like really take place like during Christmas time, and it is like really set like around like during Christmas. It really, well, yeah, let me start that over. Like, it does take place during Christmas time, and a lot of people actually like do watch this movie a lot during Christmas time. Like, I watch Nostalgia Critics like Return of the Christmas Specials countdown, and he included this movie on the list, and he was like talking about how like a lot of people really do like watch this film during Christmas time, the same way like they do with Die Hard. And yeah, he just like really did like said he really does like really associate this film with Christmas because like it has like I was saying just a minute ago, this does like take place during Christmas time, and like there's a lot of Christmas decorations and stuff. So yeah, really like it's a Christmas movie the same way that Die Hard is. Really, like, despite the fact it's not really about Christmas or anything, it does really like take place during Christmas time. I mean, yeah, it's even like listed as a Christmas movie like online. Like I like looked up a list of like Christmas movies. He's on Google, and both like this and Die Hard, along with like Batman Returns, actually did appear like in this list. So yeah, I guess like a lot of people really do like consider this film a Christmas film. You know, man, yeah, I do too. Like, yeah, I like look at like films like Batman Returns and Die Hard, which I reviewed a few years ago for like, during Christmas time. Yeah, I do consider those Christmas films, and I really do consider like this a Christmas film also. Like, not really entirely about Christmas, but yeah, a lot of people really do watch it around Christmas time, and it does take place during Christmas time, so I guess that can really classify it as a Christmas film. And yeah, the film is like really good. Like, it really does like the story for the film really is like really like twisted, and it really is like kind of bizarre, but it's very well written, and it's like it yeah, the story for this film is just like told really well, and yeah, it just it's like it has like a lot of like really like good stuff added to it. Like, it's really entertaining. I mean, it has some funny scenes to it. The music in this film is pretty good. I mean, the actors are all like pretty good in this film. I mean, this film has like actors like Zach Galligan, Phoebe Cates, uh, Francis McCain, Corey Feldman, Dick Miller, Judge Reinhold, and some other actors, and yeah, they all do pretty good in here. And yeah, you also have like some voice talent here. You have like Frank Welker and Don Steele, Howie Mandel, and yeah, they're pretty good. And yeah, you also do like have some cameos in this film, like from Steven Spielberg, from Jerry Goldsmith, Chuck Jones, and people like that. And they're all like pretty like yeah, they're all like this is well yeah, they're just cameos. They're not really like actual roles, so not really much of a performance. But yeah, you do have like some cameos from some famous people in here. And yeah, the film is just like pretty entertaining overall. And yeah, the film like really did like make a lot of money like in the box office. Like, it did have like a relatively low budget. The budget for this one was only like $11 million, and the box office was like over $153 million. So yeah, this film really did make a lot of money. And yeah, and this was really like the only film that Joe Dante directed that really was like a real big hit. Like, the other films that Joe Dante had directed, really none of the other films that he directed really were like real big hits, and really didn't really do that well, like financially well. Like, other films that Joe Dante directed were films like the sequel Wolf to this film, and Explorers, and Small Soldiers, Looney Tunes Back in Action. Yeah, all those films just really didn't do that well financially. Yeah, so this was really the only film that Joe Dante had directed that really was like a real big hit, and people really did love it. And yeah, this was like a really good film. I mean, it had yeah, like I said, a real bizarre story, but it was told really well and did have a lot of funny things in this film. So yeah, I really did like enjoy this film. It just really was a really good film. I would give this film 3.5 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, it's really like I really don't really like hear a lot of people really talking about this film much today. I mean, I guess like it really must have been like really popular like back then, but yeah, now today like people really do seem to forget this film. Like I really don't hear a lot of people really talking about this film today. I guess like just because of like a lot of like there are like people a lot of other films that people really do associate with Christmas a lot more, like films that really are about Christmas, like the Home Alone movies and Santa Claus movies, and Polar Express, The Grinch, It's a Wonderful Life, Jingle All the Way, yeah, movies like that. So yeah, but even when they like really don't associate this film with Christmas, like even just as a film itself, really a lot of people really don't really seem to talk about it a lot today. So yeah, I guess like it probably is looked at as a forgotten classic today, but yeah, it really is like a really good film, and yeah, I really did enjoy this film a lot. So yeah, let me just get right into it. All right. So as the movie opens up, it has like an inventor, a Randall Peltzer. He's like visiting an antique shop in Chinatown, looking for a Christmas present for his son Billy. And then he like eventually found this really like strange small furry creature that was like called a mogwai, and Mr. Wing, the owner of the shop, like really was like refusing to really sell it to Randall at the time, but eventually like Randall's grandson then ended up like selling Randall the Mogwai secretly, and he was just telling Randall that he has to remember like 3 important rules to never break, which are don't expose the Mogwai to any bright lights or sunlight, because that could kill it. Don't let it get wet at all, and never feed it after midnight. Yeah. And then yeah, he then brought it back home to his son Billy in Kingston Falls, and he ended up like giving Billy the Mogwai as a present. Yeah. And Randall then like just told Billy that the Mogwai was named Gizmo, and yeah, Billy just then like was told those 3 rules by his father and stuff. Yeah. And eventually like Billy's friend Pete ended up like paying a visit and stuff, and yeah, Billy was showing Pete Gizmo, but then he ended up like accidentally spilling some water on Gizmo, and then like Gizmo was just like he was acting like he was hurt or something, and then like smoke was then like coming from his back, and then like it then showed like there were 5 more Mogwai that ended up like being spawned from Gizmo's back, and all these other Mogwai were really like more like troublemakers and stuff, and they were like really led by this other Mogwai that was like really aggressive, and he was named Stripe. Yeah. And then like Billy ended up like showing one of the Mogwai to his former science teacher of Mr. Hansen. And then like another Mogwai ended up being like spawned also, and then Mr. Hansen then just took one of the Mogwai, and he then was experimenting on one. Yeah. Yeah. And eventually like later on like Stripes King like was like really like acting very twisted and stuff, and they like ended up like tricking Billy into just feeding them like some eating them like after midnight. I didn't like how they did it was they ended up like chewing out like Billy's power cord. Well, yeah, they end up chewing like Billy's bedside clock's power cord and stuff. Yeah. And then yeah, Bill like didn't know it was after midnight, and he ended up like feeding the Mogwai after midnight, unbeknownst to him. Yeah. And it showed like then they ended up all like making cocoons, and also like the Mogwai that Mr. Hanson was experimenting on did as well. And then as the cocoons hatched, so like there were these like real like mischievous reptilian creatures that like they ended up like torturing Gizmo, and then they ended up like trying to kill Billy's mother. And yeah, also like there was like one point where like the Mogwai like ended up like hanging Billy's dog Barney with Christmas lights and stuff, which was I thought was pretty funny and stuff. And yeah, they also were like hiding in the Christmas tree and stuff. Yeah, they were just like really like doing a lot of like funny stuff like that throughout this film. Yeah, and it also showed then like Hanson ended up being killed by his Mogwai too. Yeah, and then yeah, all like no, I guess I can call them the Gremlins, and they ended up like eventually all being killed except for Stripe, and then Stripe ended up like escaping to like a swimming pool at a YMCA. Yeah. And then yeah, he ended up like of course like then spawning up a whole army of gremlins, and then yeah, they just ended up like wreaking chaos throughout the entire town. Yeah. And Billy tried to like go to the police and try to explain the situation to them, but they like didn't believe Billy and just thought what he was saying was real silly. And like it just then like showed that there were a bunch of people that ended up being injured or killed by the gremlins, including like uh this elderly woman that like Billy's dog has been bothering, Mrs. Deagle. Eagle, yeah. Yeah. And then like eventually like Billy's girlfriend, Kate, like ended up like flashing all the gremlins with a camera in a local bar, and then that ended up like well, of course like that flash was like ended up like stunning all the gremlins, and then like Kate ended up like escaping with Billy and Gizmo, and she eventually like ended up like explaining to Billy that her father was like once killed in a chimney when he was just a Santa, and this is why like Kate really doesn't celebrate Christmas anymore and stuff. Yeah. And then like eventually like Billy and Kate discovered that like the Gremlins were like in a local movie theater, and they were like watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I thought it was funny. Like the Gremlins were like singing along to "Hi Ho," which I thought was really funny. Like I was really laughing at that. I just found that really hilarious. Yeah, yeah, and yeah. Eventually, like Billy and Kate ended up like setting off an explosion in the theater, which ended up like killing all the Gremlins except Stripe once again. Yeah, and eventually, like Billy just ended up like chasing Stripe into a store in Montgomery Ward. Yeah, and then like Stripe like ended up like trying to really like once again spawn some more gremlins, and he climbed into a water fountain to try to do it, and like Gizmo then like drove in a toy car inside the store, and then he eventually like opened up a skylight, and then that ended up like of course like exposing Stripe to all that sunlight, and yeah, he ended up like being melted down and stuff, and yeah, Stripe finally ended up being destroyed and defeated. Yeah. And then like in the final scene of the movie, then like Mr. Wing then like ended up arriving at Billy's house, and then like he collected Gizmo back, and then he just like was scolding the Peltzers about like being so careless about the whole situation. And yeah, he just like thought that the Western world that really wasn't ready for any of the Mogwai. But then like he was just like telling Billy that he may someday be ready to actually properly take care of Gizmo. Oh, and yeah, Gizmo like just had become attached to Billy, and he really did believe that Billy would one day be able to do it as well. And then yeah, Mr. Wing then just like packed Gizmo up and then just departed and just ended up like walking off. And then that's how the movie ended. So, yeah, 3.5 stars out of 4. Like I said, this is definitely like a really good, enjoyable movie. Like it has a really like the story is bizarre, but it's told very well. It has like a lot of really good humor to this. Some good actors. Yeah, just yeah. It is overall just a very enjoyable movie. So yeah, I would recommend this film if you haven't seen it before. Yeah, whether or not like during Christmas time, like well, of course like during Christmas time it'll be like a special time to watch this since like people do like look at this film as a Christmas film, and they do watch. A lot of people do watch it around this time. But even like if it's not Christmas time, you can still like get a lot of enjoyment out of this as well. So, yeah, so yeah, you can pretty much like watch this film like really anytime. You don't really have to associate this film with Christmas, but yeah, like this is really looked at by some people. Well, a lot of people really to be a Christmas film because yeah, a lot of people really do watch this around the holidays. So yeah, you can make the judgment with yourself whether or not you really would consider this a Christmas film. But yeah, regardless if you do, check this film out. So, alright. So yeah, that does it for my review of Gremlins. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.